So we're looking at a new beginning today and coming up on New Year's 2021. Can you believe that? It's just hard to even comprehend that. I don't know where I am. I think I'm still in the early 2000s. I think that was kind of we came here in 2003, so we're coming up on 18 years, which we're going to tie the record here pretty soon. With Dan, he was here 18 years. So it seems like 18 minutes, it just flies. But anyway, the whole idea of a new beginning. Okay, now my monitor keeps flashing on and off. I don't know if that's probably not anything we're doing, but it's okay. Interesting technical issues. So let's not be conformed to this world. Let's do a little something else. What Paul said in Romans is one of the most powerful statements, I think, that he made. He made several, actually, that were very good, but this was one that is very important, especially for this time of year. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. And what that is, it's an invitation to think about where we are in our thought. Often we're not here. We're not in this now moment. We're somewhere in the future, projecting into the future, or we're hanging on to something in the past. And when we're saying, we want to make this a better year, what are we actually saying? We're saying, right now I'm thinking of how much I didn't like about the past, and so I'm projecting, looking to the future, that it's going to be a better time unfolding. But the important thing to remember is, what is a happy new year? What is a new beginning? There's only one place any of us can be, and that's in this now moment. And that almost seems like an impractical thing. We like to hear it. It has a nice ring to it, to say that we only have this now moment, and the only success we need to achieve is success in being here, being in this now moment. And how often can we say that? How often can we say, I'm fully here, and I'm happy, and I'm fulfilled, and I'm appreciative of all the people and all the things going on in my life at this moment? How often can we say that? Because I think more often than not, look at the moment we're in and say, I can't wait to get out of this one so I can get to that next one. The next one's going to be better. We don't say this, this is not a dialogue that we're carrying on necessarily in terms of a conversation we're having with ourselves. It's just sort of an attitude that if happiness is here, then I've got a problem. If happiness is in this now moment, then I have a problem. And I think one of the reasons that we think that way, if we think that way, is because we're not here. We're not actually here. We're not actually in this moment. We're still somewhere else. And we have become so accustomed to doing that we don't even know we're doing it. We don't know we're not living in this now moment. It's very difficult to do it because most of us are living out of a self-image. It's a census-based self-image. Another thing Paul talked about was the spiritual man and the unspiritual man, spiritual, unspiritual human being. And he said that the things that are spiritually discerned are folly to the unspiritual person. And I think what he meant by that is the unspiritual person is not a person that has no spirit, but a person who is living strictly from the senses. And that's most of us, most of the time. The way we determine whether a moment is good or not is by information that's coming in through the senses. Am I happy to be here? Am I happy to be who I am, where I am? Or am I always telling myself, this is not good enough, I need to get out of here, I need to move on, I need to make life better? And that's, as I've talked about many times, one of the things I have The problem with this whole idea of soul evolution is someday I'm going to be something more than I am today. So what does that mean? What does that say about me today? What does that say about me now? I'm not good enough, which is why I'm not having a grand now moment. And so it's a whole mindset that we're involved in, and we're actually trained to do that. Our whole educational system is about being something more than we are at this moment. And I think one of the principles that is important in the spiritual teaching is to understand that you don't have to be more. The only thing you have to be more of is more aware of what you are already. And we have been so trained to think that we're not enough, we're not complete in and of ourselves, that we strive to add more of something to our life. And so we talk about a new year, we talk about new possibilities, new ways to prosper, new ways to achieve new levels of happiness, and so on. And it's not nearly as complicated as we make it. To be transformed by the renewal of our mind is, in large part, to learn to be here in this moment, not to borrow the future, not to try to constantly look into the crystal ball of the future, or drag around the past like I think it was Isaiah said we drag around our sins like a heifer on a rope. It's like we just don't let it go. And we're always comparing. But we've never been in this moment. And from the perspective of the census-based self-image, that doesn't seem real practical. To try to live here in the now moment all the time, and to let go. Because we say, well, we need to plan and we need to do things, and that's true. We have an intellectual mind. I think when Paul was talking about the unspiritual as opposed to those who spiritually discern, he's not saying that there's anything wrong with the intellect. The intellect is a very important tool. We have to have it. It's a very important tool to live on this planet. We may not need it so much when we don't have a body. When that time comes, we will live strictly intuitively. But when we're here, we have this body, we have to plan things, we have to purchase transportation, we have to purchase shelter, we have to purchase clothing, all the the food to feed it and all that kind of stuff. The intellect plays the role of helping put all those ducks in a row. It's a very important part. But it's so important that we lose sight. We think that's what I am, that's what my life is. It's all about taking care of this shell of a self, this physical self, and all the things that entails. And Paul is saying here, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. This world he's talking about is this world of perception of living in the future, living in the past, not being here. That renewal of the mind is the new moment. That's the renewal. Now is the new moment, the only moment that we can live. And so we pull ourselves back, and you do this when you are in a situation that is really bothering you. This is when it's most important. When you're afraid of something that you're projecting in the future, something that can happen. It could be a very real concern, not to ignore stuff that we're dealing with. But when you have a problem in the future, does it help solve it by worrying about it in the present? That's what we always come back to. If worry would do any good, if it would actually change the thing that we're worried about, then we would advocate it. We would say it's an important thing. But what does worry do to us? What does that type of projection do to us? It takes us out of this moment where we cannot live here successfully. We're destroying our peace of mind by thinking about something we can do absolutely nothing about. And we all do it. It's not, it's just something to be aware of. This is what we all do. We project, we destroy the quality, the peace, the potential peace of this now moment by looking into the future and worrying about it, or by thinking of something that happened in the past that we're dragging into this now moment. And that's the world. The world is this mind thing that we're doing all the time. Do not be conformed to this world. So if you're in a situation where you're concerned about it, it's robbing you of your peace of mind at this moment. This is the world that we are not to be conformed to. To transform our thinking is to say, I'm now in the presence of God. I'm now in the presence of my whole self. I don't lack anything in this moment. And there's going to be a part of you that argues about that, and don't listen to that. You want to conform to that, you can. And we do. But that's the spiritual principle here. This is a new moment, a new beginning. And that's what we want to work on practicing as we go throughout this day and all the days to come. It is our ability to experience transformation by letting go of the old and opening our mind to the new. Every moment is an opportunity to begin again. And again, that's almost a cliche. We all know that. We have heard that so many times, especially this time of year. But every moment is an opportunity to begin again. If you just ask yourself, when is my life going to get better? When am I really going to appreciate being here? Being here with who I am and what I have. When is that going to happen? It's a question to ask yourself. And maybe you have reached that point. I know we all have moments where we break through and we're just grateful. Have you ever just suddenly experienced waves of gratitude for no reason? And you start asking, what's wrong with me? There's no reason for this. But that's unconditional love. That's the way, that's our natural state, is to experience gratitude even to the point of tears for no reason, just because I'm alive, because I'm here. Not because of what I've achieved. I was going through I have a stack of letters which I actually put on the computer, and just people that have commented over the years, everything from when I used to do, I was on radio for 11 years in Springfield, and all of the broadcasting that we do through YouTube and so forth. Today I don't get so many letters, I get likes, and that's not quite the same, but and a few comments. But I was going over those and just thinking, they're all nice. It's nice to get input, to think that something that I have done has caused somebody to look at their life in another way that may be helpful. But I can't live on that, and I don't want to live on that. I don't want to live or try to live on, I don't want to measure my happiness and success by the input I get from other people. It has to be more than that. I have to be here because I love to be here, because I want to be here, and any likes or good comments that come along with that are a bonus. But if they're not there, will that destroy my life? And I love to write. I love to share my thoughts. I love to develop my thoughts through writing. I'm always in the present moment when I'm doing that. It's a meditative type of experience for me, and I really appreciate the ability to work out. If this is true, then how would this work out? This is how I think in terms of these spiritual ideals. If we start with the truth that I'm a whole soul, a complete soul at this moment, then why would I not be happy? Why would there be something that would crop up and stand in my way? And I have also said there are no natural barriers between where I am and where I want to be. So if that's true, if I accept that as true, and I do, then why would I not be happy in this moment? And I try to answer those questions through writing. I think it's a good exercise for anybody to engage in. The reason that I would not be happy ever is not because of what's going on outside of me, but because of how I'm interpreting that. Because I'm not allowing myself to be transformed by the renewal of my mind at that particular moment. I'm saying to myself, it doesn't work here. This principle doesn't work. But then I go back and say, well, if it's true that you're whole, if you're a complete soul now, and there are no natural barriers between where you are and where you want to be, what is standing in your way? There's obviously a barrier here. You're not happy. And so I look at that. What is this thing that I'm saying to myself that is saying, this is not a worthy moment? And so I look at that. And I say, can I change that? And, you know, my mind, like yours, probably runs down the path of, well, how do I fix that condition that's bothering me? And then I think, well, I'm here in this moment. I'm sitting here at this desk behind this computer, and the thing that is destroying my peace of mind is 10 miles away. So how could that be a barrier? Where's the problem? And the problem, of course, is in my perception. It's in what I'm doing with my faculties in that moment. So that does not change the fact that I have a complete soul, that I'm complete right here, right now. But I also have this faculty of imagination that can invent problems. And so I'm inventing a problem that's keeping me from being here in this moment successfully. So that's what it comes down to, is that's how we acknowledge whether or not we're conforming to the world. What is this world? You know, we all need to define that for ourselves. What is this world that I'm conforming to? And is there a way to step beyond that? It's not a matter of being irresponsible. It's, okay, if you can solve the problem that you're worried about right where you are, then do it. You know, that's okay. You have total freedom to do it. The problem is we can't. You can't solve it from where you are. You can't get there from here. The only thing you can do here in this moment is live your life, is be here. That's the only productive thing that any of us can do, is be here in this moment. So we're here in this moment projecting all kinds of things and not really here in this moment. So that's what we're looking at. It's, you know, where does life take place? Where is this thing that I call life that is sometimes good and sometimes bad? And so I come back to my own thought. If there are no natural barriers between where I am and where I want to be, that must mean there are some unnatural barriers. I've said before, you know, that it's the barriers, they're normal. They're normal to all of us. We all understand why we would worry about something we can do nothing about. That's normal. But is it natural? Or have we learned the art of worry? Have we learned the art of using our mind in a way that is self-destructive? So it's a barrier, but it's not a natural barrier. It's a learned barrier. It's keeping me from experiencing the success in life that I want to experience. There's something freeing about just saying this to yourself. The only time that I have to be successful is here, right now. If you think, well, I'm not successful because I don't have enough money, well, do you have enough money to be here now? You have exactly enough. In fact, it doesn't cost anything to be in this moment. It's free. Do you have to have more education to be here now? I hope not. You've got all the education you need to let go. It doesn't take an Einstein. Is there anything that is causing you that you can't do anything about to not be happy at this moment? Is there anything that's keeping you from being successful in this moment? If so, what is that? And let's look at it and let's do something about it. It's not a natural barrier. Now, maybe you believe it is. I don't. I've come to the place where I can write that down and say there are no natural barriers between where I am and where I want to be. You haven't written that down, probably. Maybe you've read it. I hope you did. But that doesn't mean you own that. I don't always own it either, because sometimes I think there are barriers. And see, that's what the spiritual journey is all about. You lay out a spiritual ideal. This is true. I accept this as true. But it doesn't seem to work in this moment. Why? What's the barrier? What's the problem? If we're not digging into that level of questioning ourselves, then our spiritual journey, what is our spiritual journey? We're walking along this path and we've got this big basket and we're putting ideas in it. And we're just putting one idea after another in it, but we're not doing any of them. And that's what we look at. We take out this idea, maybe this one idea, there are no natural barriers between where I am and where I want to be. How can I live a successful now moment, this now moment? How can I be more successful here in this now moment? What is the barrier that's keeping me from being successful now? And all you have to do is answer that question and then be willing to change it to be successful in this now moment. And if you're successful in every now moment that you have, you'll have the best year you've ever had in your life. Because what is a year? It's a whole string of successful moments, or a whole string of moments, successful or not. But that's the thing that we want to look at. This is our life, this is our journey. This is our experience. I think we're all here by choice. So why are we letting life push us all around in ways that have nothing to do with what we actually want? It's a very personal thing. We're not judging. We're not saying, I grew up in a church that said, here's how you will think. If you don't think this way, you're not fitting in. You're not part of the group. You're not going to be saved. You're not part of the faith structure. That has really nothing to do with this now moment. As a matter of fact, the mainstream Christian lives a great deal of their life for the future. I've got to be good now so I won't burn in hell. There's a lot of projection, trained to project and actually to look backwards also. But that's not our problem. Judging by appearances places us at the mercy of an ever-changing environment. Jesus said, don't judge by appearances. And Jesus was tuned into this, I think, totally. And I think we can miss that very easily. Judging by appearances places us at the mercy of an ever-changing environment. If this problem will go away, I can then be happy. I can live successfully in this now moment. That's why we don't judge by appearances, is because they have nothing to do with what choices I'm making in my own head. If we think of each new moment as an opportunity to begin again, we can challenge our own belief that the past determines the present and future, and we can raise our expectation for unfolding greater good. That's kind of a long sentence, but the whole idea is just be willing to let go this now moment. Just see where you are. Observe. I think that's the key, is observe your mind. Observe how you're using your imagination. Observe where is your level of expectation, which is faith. Faith and expectation. I've given talks on that idea. One and the same thing. You say you have no faith, well, you have expectation. So you always have faith. Just that expectation is things are not going to work out so good. It's faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Expectation is the substance of things hoped for or visualized. It's a personal inventory that we're taking all the time. How am I using my expectation? What do I expect? How am I employing the faculty of my faith and imagination? To ring out the old and ring in the new involves the process of denial, that is release, and we talk about this all the time, and affirmation. To let go of that unnatural barrier and to affirm what is true. I am whole and complete at this moment. If you're concerned that something you value is being threatened, and probably all of us have something like this going on at this moment, begin by realizing every moment is a new beginning. Sometimes you just have to keep pulling yourself back. You pull yourself back and you're okay for 5 seconds. You run out there again. You have to get the rod and reel, reel yourself back in. Lift your spiritual sight above the apparent facts and know that God's wisdom is now working through all people and circumstances to establish an acceptable resolution. Again, another long sentence that is condensed in these statements here, so you don't have to remember all that stuff. But I love these ideas here. I release everything I think I know about myself, my life, and the way my life seems to be unfolding. I release everything I think I know about myself, my life, and the way my life seems to be unfolding. Let's say that together. I release everything I think I know about myself, my life, and the way my life seems to be unfolding. And when you actually do that, just release everything. Nothing I think about nothing I think of myself is true. I'm willing to be born again. I'm willing to let go of everything that I have believed about myself. I'm willing to be transformed by the renewal of my mind. That's the first half of prayer, is release. It's letting go. I release everything I think I know about myself, my life, and the way my life seems to be unfolding. Let's say that again. I release everything I think I know about myself, my life, and the way my life seems to be unfolding. That's a very powerful statement. Everything. I release everything. I'm not who I think I am. That's a very powerful statement. Well, who am I? Who is this real me that I am? Spirit reveals the perfect path to a meaningful, prosperous, and successful life. This is the affirmative side. It's opening the door and walking through. Spirit reveals the perfect path to a meaningful, prosperous, and successful life. Let's say that together. Spirit reveals the perfect path to a meaningful, prosperous, and successful life. And let's see that happening in this moment, right now, in this very moment. Spirit reveals the perfect path to a meaningful, prosperous, and successful life. Let's say it again. Spirit reveals the perfect path to a meaningful, prosperous, and successful life. So that is a very simple idea. The whole denial affirmation thing, don't overlook this, because there's a lot of power. And don't try to make what you say happen. You're actually releasing. I don't know who I am. I don't know what my life is about. Is that bad? Is that wrong? It's not. It's the most freeing thing you can say. I don't know, but something in me does, and that something is now coming forth. Spirit's revealing the perfect path at this moment. But I first have to let go of the definition of who I think I am and what I think my life is. You're setting a new course for yourself. Yes, you will waver. You will experience doubt. The old fears will return. But do not allow yourself to become entangled in the old pessimism. Start over. Enter another new beginning. Be willing to be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Spend quality time pulling yourself away from all appearances and affirm the wisdom of God is working in wonderful and powerful ways. That is absolutely true. So I don't care how old you are, I don't care what your experience is, your spiritual being, your essence is eternal. And that's what we're connecting with. That's the only way that we can come into this now moment is to realize that which I am, I have always been. I am that I am. I am an expression of God now. What does that mean in this moment? What can it mean in this moment? That's my question. All right. Thank you for coming out. Stay warm, stay safe, and have a happy new year.
Welcome to a brand new year. Step right up and enter here. Don't you know that everything's alright? Welcome to this place and time. Feeling happy, feeling fine. Open up and shine your inner light. We've made it one more time around the sun. And here we go again, 'cause we're not done. Welcome to the here and now. Time to milk that sacred cow. Let's count our blessings. We know how. We've made it one more time around the sun. Let's go again and plan to have some fun. Every minute, welcome to a brand new day. Let your troubles melt away. Climb aboard and give a cheer. Shout hallelujah. It's a brand new year.
You've been watching a talk given by Reverend Doug Bottorff here at Independent Unity in beautiful Grand Junction, Colorado. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps us spread our message. If you would like to support us, you can do so by clicking the button in the right-hand corner of the video screen. We greatly appreciate your support. Thanks again for watching.